What is up, my people? I hope everybody had a great, relaxing weekend. Everybody's getting caught up on work from last week on Play-Doh. Everybody's starting to get the hang of Play-Doh. This isn't, once you start getting into Play-Doh, it's not as difficult as you might have thought at the beginning. If you're looking at the title for this week's YouTube video, it's not clickbait. I want to talk about our mindsets, what mindset and what advice I want to give you and what advice I'm trying to take myself to get through this whole situation we're in with the COVID-19 on a positive note. We want to end on a positive note, like I talked about in my first video for this channel. So today's all about mindset. So how are we going to stay motivated? Or how are you going to stay motivated in difficult times, in times when we can't see the light at the end of the tunnel? For many of us, these are the most difficult times we have ever seen, and many in our world have ever seen. We've been lucky as a generation. But a very unique thing about this situation is that everybody is in the same situation. Everybody's had their ways of life, their routines, right? Their social activities, their sporting events. Everything has been interrupted by this disease and virus. That's something that, never really has happened. I mean, it has happened in world history, but not in recent times. Some issue in China doesn't really affect us here in America, or some issue in Africa doesn't affect us here. Some issue in Italy doesn't affect us here. Now, stuff that happens in other countries is directly affecting us. We're all impacted by the same virus. So with that, I think since we're all in the same situation, I think it's important to look at how we can benefit from the situation and come out of it better. I want each and every one of you to look at how you can capitalize on this situation. To at the end, when they let us out of our homes and let us socialize again, how we can be the best version of ourselves. I know each and every one of you have an idea of the best version of yourself, a goal for yourself that you'd love to accomplish. But normal everyday life a lot of times prevents us from getting to that goal. We have responsibilities with work or kids or anything like that adults have to deal with, and kids as well, or students as well. We have things that block us from really getting to our goals. But now a lot of that's reduced. A lot of us have a lot of free time on our hands now, right? And that's never going to happen again. You are never going to have this much free time again, most likely in your lives. So we need to use that to our benefit. All right. So some of your goals might be maybe to get, healthier, right? So if you want to start exercising, right, that's important. The government and the national doctors have said exercising is an important way to get through this. Start with 10 push-ups a day and gradually move that up 20, 30, 40, 50. Or run around the block. Right? Do sit-ups, all kinds of things like that. Maybe you want to be more knowledgeable after this break. Well, you should be doing your lessons on Play-Doh and your online learning for your classes, but you can also read articles online, check something out from the library, local library, if it's still doing that. Read a book that's laying around the house. Read a magazine that's laying around the house. Google things on your phones. Watch Jeopardy on TV. Maybe you want to be a better friend after this or through this. I know each and every one of us probably have a friend that's being affected or is affected by this. Maybe you're thinking of them. Give them a call. See how they're doing. Be that friend. Use this opportunity to be that friend that you've always wanted to be. For me personally, I've wanted to really get good at golf. Maybe it's silly, right? I'm not going to go pro and make money at it, but that's a goal that I had. So I've found a way every day to hit a golf ball. Right? That's something that after I have all my work done for the day, I can just go relax and hit golf balls, whether that be at the golf course or in my yard or in my house. I found a way to do that. So whatever your goal might be, find a way to do that. You owe it to yourself, and that's the only way you're going to come out of this situation on a positive note. All right? In all, my point is, don't just sit around waiting for this to end. Don't just sit around watching Netflix or playing on your phone, playing video games on social media. Do not just sit around and wait. We all need to get up, get positive, and use this time to build ourselves. Become stronger. Become that person, that ideal person, our goal person, who we really want to be. Some of you, this might not be the first difficult time you've had to go through. I can tell you all, this is not going to be the only difficult time you're going to face in your lives. So difficult times may come and go, but it is our responsibility, you and I, to adapt and to overcome difficult times in our lives. So with that, it's easy to dwell and focus on the negatives at this time. But once you're thinking that way, it's hard to come back to reality. Right? It's really easy. It's really easy to point out negatives and dwell on them. I do that. I'm guilty of it. Try not to do that because there's a lot of negatives that we can identify, but there's also a lot of positives. So I'm going to talk about a couple positives and things we should not take for granted when this is all done. Don't take for granted a handshake with a stranger, a knuckle touch with a stranger, a knuckle touch with me in class or at school. Don't take that for granted. Full shelves at the grocery store. We've just always known in our lives the grocery store has all the food. We don't have to worry about it. We don't have to worry about where it comes from. You know, it's going to be there. Not now. We're having shortages of things we've always had. Don't take for granted or complain about a crowded movie theater. On discount movie nights, I always used to complain about there's a huge crowd. There's a huge crowd on a Friday night. Who would have thought? Huge crowd on a Friday night at the movie theater. I'm not going to complain anymore. I'm going to be happy to wait in line. And last, you don't complain or take for granted a boring day in my class, because that's an opportunity we can all spend together learning and having fun, right? Cracking some jokes, having a good time. So with all of that, right, if you really think about it, think about the things that have gone on and the people that have invented things and made this world better. A lot of times it comes around in difficult, trying times. When we're forced to adapt and overcome, that's when great things happen. It's truly amazing what human beings can achieve in difficult times. But those things cannot be achieved if individuals don't have a conversation with themselves, an individual conversation that helps keep you focused, disciplined. Identify that goal you have in mind. Identify the ways you're going to pursue that goal. And you need to have a realistic conversation. But that can only come from within. I can tell you about it, give you advice, try to motivate you. Your parents can, or your friends can, or government can. But truly, and I've told you this the entire year, you are the one that controls your behavior. You are the one that can, take that first step. So I'm urging you to take that first step to better yourself during this break, to come out of this quarantine better than when you entered it. So I think, this last quote, I'm going to set the context for it and then end my video. It's been long enough. Summarizes where we are currently. So Robert F. Kennedy gave this quote from a Greek poet in a speech he gave on April 4th, 1968. Some of you might know that as the day Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated. This was before the time of instant news, 52 years ago. April 4th, almost exactly on the day I'm making this video, it was 52 years ago. They didn't have instant, text messaging and social media. Many people didn't know Dr. King was assassinated. So Robert F. Kennedy, who was campaigning for president, wanted to inform the crowd. He was advised not to, for threats of, it might break out in a riot and it could be dangerous for him. But he wanted to, talk to the crowd and help talk them through that difficult time and those difficult emotions they might be feeling, because he had to go through a lot of difficult times in his own life. So he shared this poem that helped him deal with the death of his brother, JFK. So it goes, even in our sleep, pain which cannot forget falls drop by drop upon the heart, until in our own despair, against our will, comes wisdom. So I think that quote really matches what state we're in today, right? Even in the darkest times, right, comes wisdom. We find a way to get better, to move forward. So that's what my challenge is for each and every one of you this week. Find your goal. Find what you're going to get better at, how you're going to improve, how you're going to come out of quarantine a better person than you went into it as. So watch my videos for the lessons this week. Email me if you have any questions. But I want each and every one of you to have a great week. Let's get it.